going through some of my old paints, and I found these water soluble oil paints. I think I tried them once a long time ago, but I don't even remember I don't even remember how that went because it was so long ago, and I never used them again for some reason. I'm pretty sure the only reason why I never tried them again was because they took longer than acrylics to dry, obviously, and I guess I'm so used to acrylics and to paint drying really fast as I work that I thought like, oh, I'll try it again later someday, and then I never did. But that's what I'm gonna be using today for my next study. And since I'm using these oil paints, I wanted to use a new palette, and I just realized I don't have another one because the one I used for the acrylics has a bunch of the dry acrylic that I could not scrape off. I don't know, I think I used it so long without cleaning it that now it's really stuck there, so I just need a new one. And I realized I had one a long time ago. I got this one, and it's just so pretty. I never wanted to use it because one of my friends made it with resin, but I think we're gonna use her today. Look how, let me see here, maybe? How beautiful. It's got little flowers and leaves, and I know I can always clean it, and this one I promise I'm gonna take better care of, because the other one I started well and then I was like, oh, whatever, and I regret it now, and I've learned my lesson. But now that I have a really pretty one, I'm really gonna take care of this one. I'm gonna change for her, but I'm gonna be using this one today for the first time, and it is a little bit painful to think about putting paint on it, but it's what she's here for. Also, since I was just focused on the kind of painting that I'm gonna be using, you know, because it's kind of new, I've been doing all the research and I've been watching videos on people using them, but I forgot a important detail, and it's the subject. I don't really know what I'm gonna be painting. I do have a couple ideas of things that I've had in, like, I made a little list of things I want to work on. I just didn't particularly think of doing those with these paints, so I might just pick from that list and go from there. But some of my study ideas that I've had are inspired of the books that I've been reading, so I'll pick one from there. Work mode on. I was looking at some pictures on Pinterest of Emma because that's one of the most recent ones I read, and I wanted to paint something from it. And obviously it mostly comes out from like the new movie. I think it's a movie, I don't know if it's a show. I haven't watched it yet, but the pictures look so cute. Like, I can't even pick. I should just watch it today once I'm done painting, obviously. Okay, I already decided to go with this one, so we're gonna switch. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna start with a sketch first, and then I'm gonna go in with the colors, so let's do that first. and I'm still working on the painting. I've done some progress, but oh my god. At first, I was trying to do a different method than what I usually use, and it's because I saw it on YouTube, and obviously I didn't do it the way it was supposed to be done. I didn't do it right, because it worked for the person doing it on the video, but it didn't work for me. So obviously I didn't do something right. But I decided mid working on it, I gave up. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back to what I would have done originally. So on top of what I had already painted, now I went back and did that. I have a lot of feelings. First of all, these water-soluble oil paints might be a new favorite. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna give up on acrylics, but I am saying that the only reason why I'm not giving up on acrylics is because I know you shouldn't make decisions when you're emotional, and I am emotional right now. Because obviously, this might be an obvious thing for everybody that's ever used oils, but I have not used oils, and I know what they do, and I know what it's like because I've heard other people talk about it, but experiencing it yourself is magical. So when I painted with the other technique that I didn't like, and when I went again with what I would have done, I know that they're not gonna be dry, but like I wasn't really thinking, and I went on, you know, thinking we'd start over the other one, and I see it's blending with the older paint. It's blending with what I had already done, and I was like, oh my god, like this is a little better than I thought. So I kept working on it, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is what it feels like to be able to keep working on the same, you know, color or the same section after taking a little break, because you know acrylics, they dry right away. So if I'm gonna work on something, I had to finish it all before I can take a break, or like, you know, knowing that when I come back I'm not gonna be able to blend it, I'm gonna have to like keep going with new paint. So that was amazing. And besides that, I feel like you don't waste the paint, because with acrylics I waste a lot of paint, because if I had used a little too much and then I had to take a break and the break extended, you know, I try to keep it fresh, and I try to keep it covered, and I try to like refresh it with water, but it's not gonna be the same. Sometimes it just dries, and obviously there's things you can add to it, like I used the acrylic paint retarder, but it's not the same. It's not gonna be the same. This is the same amount of paint that I used the first day when I started. This is day 3 of me starting this painting, and I still have all the paint. And again, this might be old news to everybody that's ever used oils ever, but I am telling you, the only thing I've ever used is gouache, watercolors, and acrylics. And they all have their amazing things, they're all great in one thing, but like I love the feeling of like the really opaque paints like acrylics, but then I didn't like how quickly it dried. That was the only thing I didn't like about acrylics. With like regular oils, I'm a little apprehensive, because first of all, I know you have to have a very well ventilated room to paint, and right now I don't really have that, especially for like the cold season. I don't really have a way where I can like paint comfortably in the cold weather and like have the windows open. So I'm still trying to figure out that issue. But even then, like the mixtures of the different oils, there's a lot I have to learn first that I do not know how to do. And I don't want to just, you know, buy everything and get excited, because I do that a lot, and I'm trying not to do that anymore, where I would buy everything and then like, you know, not do the proper research first and not experiment little by little. Like I get a little too excited, and then it's like, well, I don't like it, and now I got a lot of materials that I'm never gonna use again. That's why I thought the water soluble would be a good way to start getting into oils. Besides, they're way easier to like clean, and everything is easier with the water soluble ones. Yeah, as a little update, I am loving these paints, and I know I've said before that, you know, I love something and then next day I'm like, yeah, but I'm not doing it again. But this time it's different. Another issue is that I have a limited color palette, because I did not buy these paints. They were given to me. I'm just gonna put the names of what I used here, but I do not have a lot of the colors, and I am lacking some primary colors. So I am trying to make it work with what I've got. I do not think this painting is gonna be done by the time this video goes up. but I am just hoping I surprise myself. I'm hoping future me can be proud of present me. But she's not hopeful. She might be surprised, but she has no hope. I'm gonna finish it eventually anyways, but like for the video, I'm trying to have the face ready. That's my priority. If it's not ready for the video, I will share pictures on my Instagram. This is what I've got right now, and obviously not even close to being done, a lot of work to be done. But the thing was that at first, the technique I was following was basically starting with the midtones, and ignore the hair. The hair was a failed, like I'm also gonna do that, but I'm talking first about the skin. The skin, I started doing just like the midtones first. What I would usually do is go darks to light and then go back again and add like different tones or whatever. Is that a technique? I don't know. That's just how I do it. I'm self-taught, so I don't really have like a specific method. There's no name to it. There's nothing like specific. This is me experimenting and finding something that I felt worked for me, but not necessarily saying that this is the right way to do it, or like necessarily that I encourage anybody to do it. I mean, if you want to, perfect, but I don't really know why I do it. It just works for me. But yeah, so I went in the light first, and then I feel like it all looked the same color. I feel like I didn't see the tones, I didn't feel it right. I don't know, I did it wrong. It's a me problem, it's not the technique that's wrong. So now I went back with the darks, and now I gotta go with like the midtones and the light and all that. But see, well, I don't know if you can tell, but like this color, I used the same tone pretty much for almost all the dark shadow areas, but it was just mixing with the light color in the bottom that I got those different, like a little lighter here than here, you know. So still experimenting, because I was surprised when it happened like that. I was surprised when I saw it, because again, I know what they're supposed to do, but it's so different to experience it. This bookshelf is kind of a mess. Well, it's not so much of a mess, but it's not what I want it to look like yet. I have plans for the future, but not now. Honestly, doing the videos while I study has helped me so much, because I really struggle with procrastination and, you know, like keeping up with a schedule and all of that. So I feel almost like, even though it's beneficial to me doing the studying because I want to do it anyways, but doing it for the video has kind of made me feel a little more responsibility, because these are my hobbies, so it's not like I have somebody keeping up with me if I'm studying or not. But you know, I feel like now I do. Like I feel like, oh, I have to study for, you know, because I'm almost done with the video, and before I edit I need to study at least for a little bit. So even though it feels a little like, it's not disingenuous, but it is my motivation to have it ready for a video. But that's how habits start, you know. Sometimes you gotta have an outside source or an outside influence motivate you to start a habit, and then eventually it becomes part of your routine. So, you know, I don't feel like it's fake. I see it like that. I just feel like this is my current motivation, and eventually once it becomes part of my everyday routine, it'll become easier for me to, you know, remember and have that desire for studying, because I have fun doing it and I really want to, but it's the part where I motivate myself to get up and get that book and start studying that I struggle with. Welcome back to my office. So we're going to study Latin again. I have to address an issue. So last time I was studying a book, we started off really strong, okay? See, I have been learning through books and mostly written sources. I am doing some Duolingo, which also helps with pronunciation, but some words I've learned only through written material because I haven't gotten there yet in any audio form, and I should be looking up the pronunciations. But, you know, sometimes I focus so much on the meaning of stuff, and because nobody really talks Latin, so most of the Latin information that I'm trying to read is a book or it's written. But that being said, we started off really strong because I have this book, like I said before, with words and phrases in Latin, and I thought I would start, you know, in the alphabetical order, trying to memorize one. And I did. I still remember, but here's the thing. I mispronounced it. And my friend, who's also learning Latin, has made fun of me for it for like the whole week. I said ad capite ad calcem. A capite ad calcem, right? It's supposed to be a capite ad calcem. Listen, it's a very little mistake. Anybody would have done the same mistake, but she would not let it go. So I feel like I have to address that first. So yeah, a little mispronunciation, but I did remember the meaning during the whole week because I feel like actually her bullying helped me. She did not let it go. So for the whole week, I was remembering the phrase and what it meant. So thank you. Okay, let's go to the next one. And let's try to pronounce a word this time. A maximis ad minima, from the greatest to the least. Again, we're gonna try to use this during the week. Now, how did I do last week with a capite ad calcem? I am gonna be honest, because of my friend's bullying, I did hear that phrase a lot, but I didn't use it in the right context. So last week I didn't really use the word, but I'm gonna count as a success because I heard the phrase enough to be like, yeah, I had learned the word, even if I didn't use it in the right context. Now, I can't even hear it anymore. I actually heard it way too much. This time is gonna be a maximi ad minima. Yeah, a maximi ad minima. Okay, and now, Duolingo time. Ubi tu habitas? So I did some phrases that were about where people live. So we had ubi habitat Marcus. That's where does Marcus live. Marcus habitat in America. Eborasi?
Puella novi eboraki habitat.
Puella novi eboraki habitat. Juvenis Romae habitat. So those are some key phrases. So it's like asking where someone lives and then answering to those questions. And then we have some more for plural forms. The sentences are a little bit odd, but at least the grammar is there. I try to keep some notes of what I'm learning too, so then I can do research on different websites and kind of, you know, combine it with this. After looking on Google for a while, I found a website called mylanguages.org, and this one, it kind of shows very well organized all the grammar information I'm looking for. It has like a little menu on the left, so you can pick if you want to go for the Latin verbs, the Latin questions, Latin vocabulary, Latin phrases. So right now I'm doing grammar. Okay, so it's been like 17 minutes, so a little 2 minutes over my goal because I'm trying to do 15 minutes a day, but 17 minutes, we should be proud. I want to start with the very basics, and then later I want to, you know, get into the more, you know, like reading and books and all that, but I really want to start minima ad maximis. I did it. Now let's try to keep that up the whole week. I'm still in the process of decorating my apartment because it's a little bit empty, but I love so much how it's looking. I just had to make a little like break for that. This is my work area, but also my living room. And this is where I record my videos, where I paint, and I just love, especially in the afternoon when the sun comes in, it just looks so cute.